Yo, what is going on guys? Today I've got you a video comparing 5 of the most insane changes in my opinion and a lot of other people's opinions who I've talked to of the beta changes in Black Ops 3 compared to the actual game's release, of the fully structured game after all DLC's basically been added right now, so we know what to expect when Infinite Warfare's beta comes out, in comparison to the actual full released version of the game pressed onto a disc in November, not shortly after the beta, and because of this reason, the beta being closer to the actual full release of the game itself, Infinite Warfare, we will be noticing these changes even more. As you guys know, in Black Ops 3 there was some massive changes that changed the game drastically from the beta 2 release that maybe not everybody noticed, so that's why I thought I'd share them with you guys today, because they were really big game changes. So without any further ado, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you slap a like in the video down below, as well subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and turn notifications on for all of my videos if you would like. I mean, if you do this, Scarce will come up on your screen and do his intro for a kid who got an iPad for Christmas just literally yesterday. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So coming in at the number 5 spot, we have classified weapons or weapon changes from the beta to the actual game's full release. As you guys know, in the beta there were certain weapons that we did not know what they were. I mean, data miners went into the files and stuff and were able to gather what these were, which were said to be the MP7, the Power Bolt, and also the KRM shotgun and the M27 assault rifle. And despite the Power Bolt being the most true of these to actually come to the game, it looks so freaking different to what it actually was in the game's full release. As you guys know, the Power Bolt, aka the SVG sniper rifle, looked like this in the beta and now looks like this. As you can see, the scope kind of looks like it's been stretched out on an uneven scale on a Photoshop software or something like that. Or an even better analogy would be the fact that it looks like someone trying to do a trick shot where you're going around turning into 360 on MW2 with the intervention, and it's stretched out in that aspect. But also, you couldn't actually get this weapon in the beta, it was just in the coding of the beta, and when someone actually, you know, data mined and actually got it into the game, this is what it looked like in the beta's version compared to the actual full release version now, as we know as the SVG. But that's not it for the weapon changes. As you guys know, the SMG that was meant to be classified in Black Ops 3 was rumoured to be the MP7 due to the data mined files from the beta and people getting it and getting gameplay with it, all these type of hackers and people like that. But actually, it turned out in the full release version of the game to be a very first for SMGs, being the very first 4-round burst SMG in the entirety of Call of Duty's franchise. I know we had the AMR-9, which was a 5-round burst, but that's kind of unique in its own aspect. I mean, we haven't had a 4-round burst SMG ever, and that turned out to be the Pharaoh, which is now the classified SMG, or the SMG that we just didn't have in the beta, because classified weapons are really only the ones that we don't have in supply drops right now. And the other classified weapons that we believed would have been in the beta's code and then in the actual game but weren't actually in the beta that we could obtain were the KRM shotgun, which actually turned out to be the Argus, and also the M27 assault rifle, like I mentioned before when I listed all the guns that were meant to be classified in the beta that we couldn't obtain again, like I said before, and that turned out to be the ICR. But obviously it's not the last actual assault rifle we unlock. That would be the M8A7, but we did not have the ICR-1 in the beta, and as you can see there's a slight resemblance between the two. And that concludes the number 5 spot, so getting into the number 4 spot, we have a slight aesthetical change, although it doesn't really make sense depending on the purpose of the game mode, Domination. As you guys can see in the gameplay trailer for multiplayer that Treyarch or Activision actually released before the game came out, and in the beta as well, there was flags in Domination, but if we look now, it's just a highlighted coloured circle that changes depending on whether you actually capture it or not, and obviously it changes colour on the radar depending what team has got it, whether it be your team or the enemy, which is really strange because, like, why would they take the time to go into the game to take something away that we've known for so many years and actually structured what appears to be the most popular public objective based game mode that we have today, Domination? Why would they take that away? Everybody knows the kind of repercussions of going on a flag. It shows enemies where you are, that you're actually capturing it, and if you're on it by yourself, they can come from any angle, and because of this, the enemies will want their flag, right? They'll want to kill you off it, get the defend points or anything like that, or if you've captured it, kill you and get it back to get the points towards their score streak. So why would they remove the flag? It's not like there's an aesthetical obstruction or a physical obstruction when you're aiming down sight shooting someone. If anything, it's more cover and you blend in slightly. I know a lot of people obviously might not agree with that and think it's pointless talking about it, but at the end of the day, why remove the flags when they're already in the game, the coding, and they could have been in the final product of the game if they didn't do anything changing it from the beta depending on Domination's game mode. It doesn't make sense to me, so that's why that's in the number 4 spot. So coming in at the midpoint position for this top 5, we have the number 3 spot, which is actually, in the beta there was only 8 specialist weapons. Well, is this the case? No, not quite frankly, because someone went into the PC files and actually gathered the Purify specialist to be able to use like they did with the Powerbolt classified weapons, MP7 blah de blah de blah, you get the gist of it. They went into the files and the actual weapon that we didn't have in the beta for specialists was the Purifier, and this is what it seemed to look like if it was in the beta, or from the beta what they decided it was going to look like, I guess, and it looks really freaking weird and really different. What do you guys think of this build of the Purifier compared to the clean cut version that we know now? I mean, obviously it looks better now in my opinion, but I want to know your guys' opinions. Personally, the contrast between the two, or the correlation between the two, there isn't many, but the contrast seems like the first version I showed you guys, the beta version, or what it would have been from the beta standpoint if they hadn't changed their mind, is like PS2 graphics, and then this is kind of the PS4 graphics. I know I've skipped PS3's generation out, but you get what I mean. There's just such a big difference, and I don't know how they could go from something so plain, simple and stale to something that looks quite iconic, to be honest, for a specialist or super in a game. Creeping up close to the number 1 spot, in the number 2 spot we have the visible player count for a certain portion of the Black Ops 3 beta's time period. And as we know, we don't get to see how many people are playing on COD at this certain moment in time in Black Ops 3, and also the same case was in Advanced Warfare as well. We couldn't tell. The last Call of Duty, I believe, that we could tell how many people are playing the game right now is Call of Duty Ghosts, and that is literally like Ghosts, like it's a ghost town, because nobody's playing it at all whatsoever. Credit to Ghost619 for that joke, by the way. But yeah, I mean, we can never really tell how many people are actually playing the game as a public whole, because obviously they're not showing it as a public whole when we go onto the menus of the game, how many people are actually online, and I don't think people would actually go out of their way on a website, or it would be as trustworthy or reliable of a source as the game itself's menu. And I don't know why they haven't shown this in Black Ops 3. Obviously it shows success on a public scale, which I think is only a benefit, but they know they probably have to put in more work if people are dipping off playing the game towards the end of the year, or that happens, or the game dies more quicker each year to when the Call of Duty's life cycle off that actually came out within that year. Because think about it, a lot of people are saying Call of Duty's dying right now, or the franchise as a whole, or it dies quicker each year, or just some people think it's completely irrelevant due to the thrust jumping, or just the general futuristic direction that Call of Duty has actually taken over the past few years with Advanced Warfare, now Black Ops 3, and now we're going even more further into the future. The community aren't going to be too happy about this, as we know with Infinite Warfare, it's already been revealed that it's going to be very futuristic, and the gameplay, it's very, very half and half really. A lot of people say, oh, it's going to be good who've played it, but yet again, we haven't really played the full built version of the game, as you guys can look at these beta changes and judge how Infinite Warfare's beta is going to go compared to when it is actually fully released. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll listen like Raven Software do to all our criticisms with Modern Warfare Remastered compared to Call of Duty 4, because they're doing a great job on that? So do you guys think there will be a great job done on the Infinite Warfare beta and the Infinite Warfare game overall? And do you think they'll be displaying the player count on Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered publicly to show which one's doing better, or why which one's doing better, so we can actually have a better insight for once perhaps on how the game's actually working in the whole community, not just the Call of Duty community? Because what you got to remember is there's a casual community as well who don't even watch YouTube videos, don't even know of any YouTubers, streamers or teams, and to be honest, that is a big portion of the community or the market that Call of Duty targets as a whole. So we'd definitely be interested to see on that, and that's why I definitely want to actually see the comparison of players online on each individual game, and no cut corners in this system. I'd like this throughout the whole year, and the Infinite Warfare beta as well, so not just Modern Warfare Remastered and not the Infinite Warfare full game, and not just the Infinite Warfare beta and maybe Modern Warfare Remastered, or not just the beta by itself, but throughout the whole year. If they removed it, we would know something was up in terms of their publicity of kind of how many people are playing the game, and they were embarrassed of this perhaps. So we definitely know there's a lot to tell from player counts, and that's why I definitely like to see reappear this year in Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, because think about it, they can show us what we need to know about why we're complaining, whether it does better in Modern Warfare Remastered because it's an older Call of Duty and they need to go back to them times, or Infinite Warfare does drastically better and they're trying to appeal to more of a casual community. So right now we are left with the number 1 spot, the last change that I think is the biggest change and most notable from the Black Ops 3 beta up until Black Ops 3's launch. Rejack. Now, if you guys know, Rejack is a pretty pointless specialist ability right now unless you're going for hero gear within the game for every single character, including Nomad. That would obviously be because Rejack is specified to Nomad, as well as the Hive specialist weapon, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the change of Rejack. So basically, right now in the game, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know that Rejack only counts as a tactical insertion, or maybe even a slight little improved tactical insertion, because it has the green smoke on the ground when you actually respawn in the same place that you die, and also this may be useful for clips and stuff like that, or getting on a fast streak in the next streak if you die in a hectic room or situation, in an objective based game mode or non-objective based game mode, whatever it may be. But in the beta, it counted your kill streak on top of when you revived yourself, and you could probably get a nuclear if you just got a Bloodthirsty. If you're good enough to get a Bloodthirsty and get them 6 times in a row in a game, you've got a nuclear medal. In the beta, literally, you got Rejack about every 4 or 5 kills, depending on how long you'd actually spent running around the map anywhere in that life. So that would mean if you got a 5 kill streak, died, revived yourself with Rejack, which is what it ultimately is used for, I guess, and then you killed the enemy who killed you, went on another 5 kill streak, repeated the whole process again 6 times, 6 times 5 is 30, you've got yourself a nuclear medal. Obviously you have to use your gun only, but I really thought this was overpowered in the beta. As you guys can see, a little bit of gameplay in the background now of me using the overpowered Rejack from the beta, and that basically concludes today's video. So if you enjoyed these 5 changes broke down and my opinions on them as a Call of Duty player who plays a lot of COD, make sure you slap a like on the video down below, and if you want a video like this for Infinite Warfare when it comes out, be sure to let me know, or if you want any more top 5s or top 10s, I'm always open to get the content out there that you guys actually want. So thank you all for watching again. I'll avoid your faces as usual. Peace out.